Hi, this is TJ Dubois at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. We've entered the final month of the season.
How is that possible? Where has it gone?
It's a bit frightening, actually, isn't it?
It really is, isn't it?
It's like when you get to the top on a roller coaster and you just look down and just go, ooh.
Yeah, I haven't really had that experience because I've always tried to avoid roller coasters.
Oh no, I'm more of a hold the coats type person as well, but I've seen it on the telly.
Okay, yeah, no, I wouldn't be keen particularly. Log flumes are okay because they just then go down and then go back up. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
But not roller coasters. We're off topic already.
Absolutely.
We're only 56 seconds into the show.
Coming up in the next hour, we'll look back at a very memorable for so many reasons victory at home to Doncaster on Saturday. We'll also reflect on another win.
Oh, it was wonderful.
At Cambridge.
What a great game.
Oh, you were there?
I was there, yes.
Well, you were both
along with 450-something other fans. It was wonderful. It was really, really good. It was a good evening.
You could have seen even more goals as well.
I know. I mean, for a little while, it did really look like we were going to go slightly mad. Alas, then sort of like Cambridge sorted themselves out a little bit. But yeah, it was really good.
Also, we'll hear from new permanent signing, Jack Young as well, who's agreed to make his loan move from Newcastle permanent this week. We'll catch up with Andy Harman, former midfielder, former, current fan as well, but former young fan who got to play for the club and also, a few years ago, was in a position to try to buy it as well.
Which just is slightly mind-blowing, the fact that you were a supporter, then you played for us, and then actually you nearly tried to buy the club. That's quite impressive, really, isn't it?
Well, that's a great collection of things to do with your local club.
There can't be many like that you've done all three things nearly, you didn't quite do the third, but but nearly did.
But I suppose there's the manager element missing as well. You can
yes, that's true. Okay.
Well, and other roles at the club too, but
didn't quite get the grand slam of football roles, as it could be known.
Yeah, you got the triple crown.
Yes, yeah. Fan, player, manager, chairman.
The old chairman as well. Yeah.
Chairman,
yes. CEO, president.
Yes.
There's all
Chief
sorts.
Financial Officer. Commentator.
Yes, we've almost wandered off. PA ground announcer.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, well, that was you.
Yeah, I know.
For a while.
Very fortunate to.
Yeah, I mean, you could tick some of these boxes off.
I could do.
You could.
Fan. No. No.
You've talked to Gareth about playing.
Yes, absolutely. Certainly mentioned.
Which I don't. No, I haven't done that. Whereas you have.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I can still see you at the back of our defence. When Anthony Stewart couldn't play on Tuesday night, there were rumours that Colin Besley was actually going to be pulling on the light and dark blue quarters to try and put the Cambridge forwards off.
When you say at the back of our defence, how far back do you mean? Still in the ground.
You could be one of the ball assistants, I believe that they are now called.
I think that's what they're called, isn't it?
They are, yes.
Talk to us about Doncaster.
Doncaster what a great day. It was fantastic. The Guard of Honour for Bayo was probably the most impressive Guard of Honour I've ever seen, because you just sort of thought it was going to be the teams, but it wasn't. It was all the substitutes, various sort of
it was like a conga.
It really was. Pete Couhig was in there, lots of other people as well. It took Bayo a while to actually walk through the whole Guard of Honour. And then Luke Davis was at the end as well, commentating on it for Wycombe Sound, which was very exciting. But a really, really nice day, and fantastic, obviously, that we won as well. It would have been, we would have come away feeling a bit disappointed, I think, had we not got all 3 points, obviously, from that game, but also because we've made it such a special game. The only disappointment was, of course, that Bayo came on, but he didn't manage to score a goal, which was sad. But other than that, it was a good day out.
And another clean sheet too.
Another clean sheet as well. Goals for Gareth McCleary and Anis Mehmeti as well. Always nice to see Anis score. You always get the impression that Anis really wants to score, and was definitely pleased that he had. There was a time in the second half where you did slightly think, oh goodness me, we looked like we were sitting back a little bit and maybe inviting Doncaster to come and get an unlikely equaliser, and there were a few nervy moments, but once Anis put us 2-0 up, you did think, oh yeah, okay, it's safe now, those 3 points are in the bag.
Let's get the thoughts of the manager, Gareth Ainsworth, who spoke to Phil after the game.
We've probably played better and not won, so you take that all day, but I thought for 20 minutes, first half, we were sensational, really were, and I thought we could have had 3 or 4 in that period. Boys have seen it out really well, I think the days off, I always do this, and the days off, the next game is always a dodgy one, we've lost them in the past, but I think that was good. They've been rested, the fatigue is, they'll be covered next for the next game, and there'll be a couple of knocks we'll have to look at, but to be able to give them the days off and get the result, that's a perfect weekend for me. Plus I got the big man some minutes on his final day, which is unbelievable, played his part. But it was all about the win, and that's what we said before the game. Celebrate these days, celebrate these people, celebrate these moments, but get the win, and they did.
We'll get to Bayo in a minute. On top of the 3 points, another clean sheet. That's 5 from 6 now. That must be really pleasing at this stage.
It is really pleasing, and Dave's had to make 2 brilliant saves at the end there. Andy Stewart with the saving tackle, Tafazzoli off the line. But, as I say, that 20 minutes at the start, I think they're 2 off the line, real energetic, good performance, but a clean sheet is fantastic, and 5 out of 6 now. We're becoming this solid team to beat, and if we can make this place a fortress, we've got Plymouth, we've got Sheffield Wednesday here to come, there'll be crucial games in this running.
It's a settled team as well now. That's a few games in a row now you've been able to name the same starting 11.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of time for everyone to get games. David Wheeler's coming today, hasn't played for a couple of weeks. Dominic Gape, Jack Grimmer, Sully Kaikai not in the squad. Wow, big names, and I changed around Jordan Obita for Jack today in the squad, and I'm glad I did, because obviously JJ's come off and we've needed to use Jordan, but no, it's all about the squad game, but a settled side is always better than chopping and changing.
And let's talk about Bayo then. He got that cameo, the reception when he came onto the pitch. I mean, that doesn't just happen to anybody, does it?
No, we can thank Anis, because at 1-0 I always worried about changing things, so Anis gets his goal, Bayo can get on. He got a brilliant 10 or 11 minutes there, and he showed some of the stuff that, what a character, what a player. Listen, this isn't his last game, this is his day, but he's going to play so big a part in this running. I'm sure there's a big moment for Akinfenwa to nail it, still to come. It's brilliant to see his family, his friends all around, and it's a pleasure of being his manager and his most productive club ever. I can't say anymore. We said it on Friday, what a guy, what a human being. Beast mode. Rock and roll, that's what it is at the moment. It's brilliant, it's a great day. He would have wanted to win, he got the win, and it's great to see all his family and friends here today. Fans were brilliant today, thank you so much. We knew it wouldn't be a distraction, so instead in my team talk I said embrace this day, embrace Akinfenwa, and embrace Joe Jacobson's 600th appearance. Not to forget that, what a milestone that is. But embrace these moments. We're not going to shy and go, is this going to affect the performance, is this going to affect the day? Embrace it. He's one of us. This club would not be anywhere near where we are if it wasn't for Adebayo Akinfenwa. So we embraced it, and thankfully we got the win.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to... This is a rehearsal bit.
And afterwards, we heard from the man himself. That's what I'm meant to be saying.
The result was the main thing. There would have been no way I could have enjoyed this fully if we didn't get the result, because the biggest picture is still we've got unfinished business. So other than scoring the last minute header, back post and that, this was the perfect way.
You've been here for 6 years, you've walked onto that pitch many times, but talk us through your feelings during that Guard of Honour, such a special moment with all the fans and your family here as well to witness it.
Yeah, man, it was emotional. Mumsy and Pops don't really come to many games, and that's the thing that actually I didn't think I'd ever get choked up on that, but knowing Mumsy was here, she was there right at the beginning, she was the one that believed in my dream, and then listen, for Donny to come out and give me a Guard of Honour with the boys and the staff, listen, it was amazing, I ain't gonna lie. At the age of the young age of almost 40, these are the things that I will cherish and remember for, so beautiful thing.
The sun is setting on your career soon, but the sun will set here, I think, before everyone's gone home. Incredible support, you must feel so much love from the Wycombe fans.
Yeah, man, listen, Wycombe and myself, I believe that the reason why I'm still playing to the age of 40 is because of this club. I feel that timing is everything. I think linking up with the gaffer, the players and the fans have just added to my story, and like I said, there's still one more hurdle that we can try and overcome for it to be a fairy tale ending. We're going to give everything, and I think we showed that today. I think we've got such a togetherness, and that's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch, and you know what I'm saying, fingers crossed we can finish with a bang.
I think you really want to, finish the season well, obviously, but yes. For him as well.
Yes.
I don't mean you. We want you to finish the season well. More the team, though, to be honest.
No, I mean, if that gives them added motivation to finish the season well for Bayo, then that's got to be a good thing. As you say, of course you want to finish the season well, whoever you are. But yeah, if it would be the Hollywood ending that Bayo deserves, if actually the season finished at Wembley with him getting us promoted to the Championship, that would be wonderful.
And on to Cambridge on Tuesday with the prospect of returning to the top six, which is an excellent carrot to have dangled. Very,
very exciting. And I thought, we did, obviously the fact that it was 4-1, it was impressive, but we did play really, really well. Probably the best that actually I've seen us play all season. I know that the Cambridge manager has then come out and said along the lines of, because they're very safe in the middle of the table, they're not going to trouble the playoffs, they're not going to get relegated, so that they were trying a few things. But it's so easy to say that after you've lost 4-1, I think.
Sure.
Admittedly, the game did change a little bit when they did bring 3 substitutes on. But even so, it was a really, really impressive performance from the Chairboys, and one that we can be proud of, and, really, really good to now be going into those final games. And some of them are a little bit tricky. Obviously, we've got Plymouth in there, and we've got Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, we're where we want to be now, I think, at this stage of the season.
And a really nice sort of side angle, if that's the right expression, that I hadn't realised, of course, that Gary Waddock is on the coaching staff at Cambridge.
Yes, and that was mentioned in the programme. There was a nice hug that was put on social media between Gary and Gareth, and it was a nice evening, actually. It's a nice place, Cambridge. It's quite easy to say when you've won 4-1 at a place, but I was quite impressed. So before the game started, a boy in front of me got hit, so he was carrying his bovril along whilst the team were warming up. And of course, it was a bit of a Rob Lesperance moment where the ball seemed to aim directly for his bovril, covering him completely. And the stewards were nice enough to actually not only check that he was okay, but then go and get him another bovril, which I thought, yeah, exactly. I thought that was quite good, because there are stewards at certain grounds that probably would have laughed and would have turned the other way, but at Cambridge they went and got him another drink. So
you don't get this sort of insight on other shows either, do you?
You don't, do you?
This is brilliant
and the other thing
news
that all the away fans will tell you is that Cambridge, the Abbey Stadium, it's a bit of a strange place in that actually the away stand is quite a long way from the pitch. They managed to fit in. It's what looks like a little netball pitch. I don't think it is a netball pitch. It's like a little 5-a-side pitch. But that is in between the away stand and the actual pitch. I don't know why the Abbey Stadium is as long as it is. It almost looks like they sort of maybe play American football there or something like that.
So even if there was no game there at all, it was worth you going just to bring back those observations, I think.
I know.
Thank you.
And I also have to say that the Josh Scowen, Chris Farino chant is a thing of absolute beauty, to the tune of Status Quo's Rocking All Over the World.
Oh, fantastic.
Can we have the best chant?
You should have recorded it.
So I know. I did think that, actually, as I was after the game. It's the best chant since the Tafazoli 12 Days of Tafazoli chant.
We'll hear from Gareth McCleary in a few moments' time, but first, here's Gareth, the manager.
Best away result of the season. We've had some real good performances. I put Rotherham away and Wigan away up amongst them all, because of the the way we've gone about things there. But lads were superb. I thought we attacked really, really well. Some of the play was just super, really, really super, and the way we defended, again, a lockout. We had a couple of messages at half time to try and deal with Ironsider. I think's been one of the most prolific scorers in the league, but kept him to a minimum, and 20-year-old Chris Farino, again 21-year-old Chris Farino, got him out of university. He's going from strength to strength, alongside Tafazoli, who again I thought was immense, but I don't like individualising people, that, so the whole lot of them just was superb tonight, and got the result. I thought we could have probably scored a few more goals, at the post twice. I think we're at the crossbar. Anis is having it out with Lewis Winging there about that last chance. I think Lewis backs him until it goes past the post there, and that's a funny one. But no, it was brilliant. Some real big performances at the right time as well, because this is the crucial end of the season, the business end of the season, and it doesn't make the season, but it's a nice win to have. Yeah.
Were you scratching your head at half time thinking how we only 1-0 up?
A little bit, yeah, but I got the messages into the players that I wanted to get into them. Me and Josh Hart worked really hard on a tactical approach, which I thought worked really well tonight, with Dobbo and Liam Blooms as well, with the little messages that can get into the individual players. We're a good team, and I can't thank the boys enough and the staff enough. They were brilliant tonight, and special moment for me because John Beck was here. It's Cambridge. My first ever league goal was in that goal there back in, I think, 91, 92, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for John Beck. He gets a lot of stick, but he should have a statue outside this place. What he did for this club, it's amazing. I played in the Championship for him, for Cambridge. great days. So for him to be here as well, to give me a little mention, still give me a few pointers after the game as well, but it was a really nice to see him and let him see that great performance, because I thought the boys were super.
How did you feel that it was a 15-minute spell at the start of the second half? Horgan, McCleary, Mehmeti, Vokes, Wing, all really clicking into gear at exactly the right time, and Wycombe were rampant apart.
Like, you mention all those names and I'll mention the surname of Kuig, because I wouldn't be able to get these players in if it wasn't for the Kuigs and the backing they've given me. You know, I'm a big fan of Pep Guardiola, because after some games he says, I get the best players, my board give me the best players, that's why we're so good sometimes. And when you mention those players, you know, natural ability and I can't thank the board enough for backing me and for giving me the tools to try and put nights like this on and put jobs like this on, you know, and that's the team effort from top to bottom. We've been really pushing hard. Yeah, we had that little dodgy spell, but it wasn't that much of a dodgy spell. I think it was only 2 defeats, and everyone chucks the toys out their pram, but we're coming good at a real crucial time of the season. Really pleased. I think we've sneaked into 6th tonight, but it's about staying in there now and staying in those playoffs till the end of the season. That's what we intend to do, and performances like tonight will do that.
It was 7 games without a win, that run. You've now had 7 games without defeat, 5 wins, 2 draws, only let 2 goals in that run as well. That's some response. Yeah,
and we worked hard on what we needed to do. I'm not shy about getting the boys in, telling them how it is and making sure that they know what they've got to do. I think in a couple of those games, Shrewsbury's and Lincoln's, we battered those teams. There could have easily been a win in those games, but we're getting the rub of the green now, you know. Even though we've hit the post 3 times tonight, we deserved our goals, and like I say, we've got a great squad, great staff, and backing by some fantastic fans tonight. They were brilliant. They were loud all game, and the board as well. We're in a good place. Looking forward to Saturday now. I think Neil Harris was here, so what he'll make of that I don't know, but we need to go to Gillingham and put on a similar performance, back rest and recovery now, and making sure the boys are good. But you just see the subs running past you as well here. They play their part, you know. Jack Grimmer is leading, taking the subs for a run after the game because they may be involved Saturday. This is what we have here. There's not many teams would do that. Not just the players going out and running. They're usually told to do it by David Waits or one of the fitness guys. They want to do that because they know how important it is to be on it when they needed to come on the pitch. And I'm a really lucky guy to have a squad like I've got.
Really fantastic to hear that sort of insight. Also, Gareth McCleary as well, getting a rare away goal, as we'll hear, when he spoke to Phil.
We played really well, some brilliant stuff throughout, from defence to attack. Yeah, I think we were really good, and obviously the result shows us that.
At half-time, it was only 1-0, and Wycombe had struck the bar and post, and were you scratching your head a bit thinking we should be a bit out of sight here?
There's been a few games like that, so we did know if we continue to do what we were doing in the first half, then the goals would come, and thankfully it did happen in the second.
Cambridge started the second half well, but then Wycombe just went up about 2 or 3 gears, it seemed, and really clicked into place. It was great to watch at times. Yeah, and it's credit to the gaffer. Obviously the way we're playing now, we're mixing up a bit. We're playing out from the back, or we're going into Vokesy. So there's a lot of progression in our play, and you can see that with the result today. A lot of times, you know, opposition managers and other fans say, we know what you're going to get when you play Wycombe Wanderers, direct football, blah, blah. Do you think people are getting a bit surprised now? Yeah, 100%. We've got players in the team that can play. You can play out from the back, we can play it into Vokesy or B when they're up front. And obviously you've got Brandon as well who can run in behind. So we've got players that can do pretty much anything in the team. So I think it's another string to our bow that we can play out, and long may it continue. Yourself, Horgan, Mehmeti, Vokes, Wing, Wycombe fans are purring at times this evening. It really clicked into gear, didn't it? Yeah, and even Joshy scored today. He's got a head of a strike on him as well. We've seen it in training, but thankfully today for him and for us, he hit the back of the net. And you even chipped in with a goal away from Adams Park. Yeah, first one in 14 years. I'm buzzing. I called it the other day because Cess, he kept reminding me for some reason, I don't know why, so I think I had to shut him up, so I'm buzzing with that. So to clarify, that's the first away goal in League One for 14 years? 14 years, yeah. Last one was Carlisle away for Forest, my first professional goal, and hopefully
we can get a few more.
That would be nice between now and the end of the season. Wycombe back in the top 6 after another result elsewhere has gone our way too. Is that a big psychological boost?
No, we're just going to keep on taking each game as it comes. We know some of the boys some of the other teams, have got teams in the top 6 that they're playing each other. So we know that there's going to be points taken elsewhere from each team in there. But I think we've just got to take each game as it comes.
And 7 games Wycombe went without winning, and they've now backed that up with seven games without defeat, 2 draws and 5 wins. That's some response.
Yeah. And I think from there we've changed shape and we've changed the style of play as well. So as I said, it's credit to the gaffer and it's credit to the boys that show we can mix it up and we can play or we can go long. So I think it's credit to everyone.
And how was the dressing room after that performance and result tonight?
Yeah, everyone's buzzing. Everyone's obviously really happy. I think it's our biggest win. And yeah, everything just clicked today. It could have been far more, to be fair. And I think obviously Stocker's a bit cheesed off about clean sheet because he's done really well as well. But everyone's happy, obviously, to get goals on the board and hopefully help us push on.
It's fantastic to get that goal difference up.
Definitely, and very, very important as well, as we're heading towards that time of the season. And again, you just look at last season, and still the sliding doors moment of if only that free kick had been allowed against Derby County, how different things might have been. We don't want to have the if onlys again at the end of this season.
Still to come, we'll hear from the manager, Gareth Ainsworth. We'll catch up with Jack Young as well, who's made his loan move permanent this week as the Wycombe Wanderers show continues.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderers show, we will be hearing Gareth Ainsworth's thoughts ahead of this Saturday's visit to Gillingham, including whether he thinks it is better to play a team at the bottom of the table at this time of the season or one in the middle that has nothing to play for. We will also hear as well from the new signing Jack Young.
But first, in our Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, former stars of the club slot. It's not really called that, but it's got a mouthful if it was.
Former stars of... yeah, okay.
We've been speaking to Andrew Harman, who, is a name you might know for a number of reasons, but his connection with the club started as a young fan.
I kind of grew up in Holmer Green. That was where my sort of main part of my life as a young boy grew up, and subsequently my father took me down to the first game he took me down to was Wycombe v Middlesbrough in the FA Cup in the team of the 70s when Jack Charlton was manager for Middlesbrough and Brian Lee was the manager for Wycombe. And I just remember standing in the crowd and thinking we're playing this team in the Football League, and just how impressed I was with Wycombe, and just sort of the whole atmosphere sort of grabbed me as, I'm going to be a fan. But then subsequently thought, well, maybe one day I might be out there playing.
And could you imagine that would actually become a reality?
I kind of think as the years developed, I had an ambition, I had trials at a few professional clubs, and I knew Mick Keane from his days at Watford. We just happened through my family connection and kept in touch with Mick, and then subsequently he ended up at Wycombe. So it was sort of deja vu, really. So at the end of the day, I sort of got invited to go down to Wycombe for Mick when I was sort of a 17-year-old and playing at Holmer Green at the time, and he was keen to promote local young footballers, and he'd already taken on the likes of Bob Dale and Gary Lester, who'd joined the club, Steve Toll, that had joined. So it was kind of nice that I had that sort of interaction with Mick at an early age.
So what were your first impressions when you arrived?
I kind of think, it was an established team. I got there as a 17-year-old, and it's kind of all of a sudden, there were a lot of people that had been there a long time with some new individuals. So you had the likes of Paul Birdseye and Howard Kennedy, who were established stalwarts at Wycombe. And then you had some newer players, and they'd done in the previous year, they'd done really well, and I think just got to the semi-final, of the trophy, and so they had a good run of performances before. And for me, I was just keen to sort of embrace it, and it didn't take me that long. I did actually get into the first team after a month or two, I got the opportunity to play there for a few games.
And did that really help your settling in process, having already had that relationship with the manager?
It feels like it's as if he wants to give me a chance because he knew me. I think at the end of the day, I had to get there on my merits. And quite frankly, when you were dealing with sort of strong characters like the Howard Kennedys of this world, you know, they wouldn't want you in the team unless you could actually demonstrate you were good enough. And I think Mick Keane his principles were, you know, it was all about playing good football, but also at the end of the day, you know, he was a winner. So he wanted to have successful people and people who could, you know, conduct themselves properly and add value to the team, really.
And we've spoken to other former players who played, you know, under him while he was there, and he sounds like a great manager to have played for.
I remember the early days when I first went down there, you know, Mick would, you know, I think one of the things that impressed me the most was just not what a nice person he was, but just also you could actually see why he was such a top professional himself, because it was quite funny that if people didn't do things the way he wanted to do, he'd go out and knock the balls in. You'd think, well, actually, he could still amazing, do it better than the players. So it was quite, you know, I think that was a laughing joke sometimes that, you know, I think he was keen still to be out on the football field. I just think he was a lover of football.
And are there any particular games or occasions that particularly stand out during your time at the club?
I think always my first game as a young 17-year-old. I played at Lokes Park and I'd only been there a couple of months and I'd got into the team and I think we had a winning performance and I played okay. And I remember coming off there and sort of, I couldn't drive at the time, so I had to get the bus home. And I just remember thinking I'm on the bus on the way home and there was some sort of fans who said, oh, you played today, you made your debut. And I was sort of, yeah, I'm just on my way home. So, you know, the whole experience, you know, I was quite a young, naive sort of 17-year-old and just wanted to play football really. And all of a sudden I'm playing for my local team that I'd kind of watched from sort of the Middlesbrough game v Wycombe in the FA Cup where they did amazing well. And I was kind of thinking, wow, I've actually, you know, I've now achieved that.
And being a midfielder as well, you must have felt really kind of central to the team and also the camaraderie in the dressing room. We speak to so many other ex-players who say, you know, it was so special, that group of players that they played with.
Yeah, I think, if I'm honest, when you first go in there was some quite big egos. And, you know, a couple of those people that played with me at the time were, you know, you had people like George Borg, Howard Kennedy, I said, and even the newer people coming through like Bob Dell and Anton Berghaus. They were, you know, sometimes you felt pretty nervous that you were playing with, you know, people that really had expectations very high and high standards. So, you know, it's the first few games you just don't want to let anyone down. You want to make sure you do your best. And ultimately, on the pitch, it's where it counts.
And as well, it must have been great to be part of the squad which won that Isthmian League title and got promoted to the conference as well.
Yeah, I mean, going from that and then ending up playing in the conference was like it's a big jump up and sort of being part of that whole group of players that played in that. I didn't really play that much in that season, but, you know, ultimately, you know, you could see what it lifted for spirits around the club, the players, the fans, and ultimately all of a sudden you're going from that to playing, a national league, which was the conference. So it was, you know, it really took Wycombe to a new level, really.
And I was reading about something else which must stand out, but perhaps not necessarily for the right reasons, is an encounter that you had with Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, I kind of... we played Wealdstone in an FA Trophy and match at Wealdstone, and I mean, at the time, I don't think he was as well known as it obviously became. But you know, you play against Wealdstone, and they were an extremely physical team, and you know, that was maybe some of my bad fortune. A couple of times, I did end up getting bad injuries, which kept me out for a while, and that one was an elbow to the face, and I fractured my cheekbone. And I remember, I talked about it last weekend. I remember coming off at half time and the physio said, you'll be fine to go back on. I was talking to Bob Dell and Bob said, there's no way you go back on. Your face is sort of blown up. And at the end of the day, you need to come off. You need to go to hospital. And I remember going home that night and I thought I'd got a real smack in the face, and ultimately I fractured my bone, and I went to hospital, and within 2 days I was in having an operation to repair it, which was quite a shock to the system.
No, certainly. So overall, how do you look back at your time at the club?
I think, I look back at the club. I love being at the club. I think sometimes, if I'm honest, I think because I had a couple of injuries, it was a bit stop-start for me, and maybe I didn't quite fulfil my own abilities to where I wanted to get to. But it doesn't go without saying that, the club, playing at Wycombe and going on tour with the players, we, went to some amazing places over Europe, and sort of experiencing the part of being involved with a great group of guys, which, I still speak to this day, is something that will hold dear in my life.
And something else which must be a great source of pride is that sort of after your time in the club, you went on to be and have gone on to be a very successful businessman as well.
I kind of, I had a bit of a journey when I left school. I tell this when I go and visit people at schools. I had to go for about 18 interviews before I got a job. So I thought, what we've got to do to get a job. But at that time, unemployment was pretty high in the UK, and I ended up eventually getting into sales. And maybe that was, luck more and judgment became my sort of forte. And so I started a business up in the office technology world, and subsequently, whether luck or you make your own luck, I built it up to be a pretty successful business, turnover 100 million and employing hundreds of people, and was pretty proud that I was still able to play football, not at Wycombe's level because that was a full-time occupation then, but I was able to play at a level below at Marlow for a few years and build my business up. So I suppose in a way I've got the best of both worlds.
No, definitely. And I guess fans more recently may know your name from, your attempt, if that's the right word, to actually sort of put a bit in a bin and take over the club in pre-Kuig times. That must have been sort of a really interesting time for you. Yeah,
there were a couple of times actually which haven't been noted. And I remember when Don Woodward was at the club, and I talked to him about he was looking to move backwards from there, and at one time the timing wasn't right for me, and I think they ended up with Andrew Howard subsequently coming in, and that was offered to me if I had wanted to go in there, and I could have sort of become part of the fabric at Wycombe at that time. But the time that I look at that you just mentioned was about 3 or 4 years ago. Wycombe were in need of investment, and Wycombe, it was pretty common knowledge that there were some challenges there, and there was an American group that were invested in Derby. For various reasons, a number of fans reached out to me and said, look, we're not comfortable with that. And there was a time that I thought, actually, I could, maybe I could make us, I'd sold my business. Financially wasn't the challenge. It was more about what could I do to help the club. And I came pretty close to doing that deal, and it was ultimately I turned around at the end of the day and just said it wasn't quite right for me for a couple of reasons. Not to do with financial, more just maybe the fabric of the way the club was run, and they wanted to continue that. And for me, if I was going to run a business or run a football club, I'd want to imprint with my own decisions and be the person who made those decisions. Good people, but I think there was I met a committee there, and without being rude, initially they didn't actually want me to take the club over. They wanted to go with the takeover of the Derby group, and that's fine. I met a fans forum with quite a few hundred fans who were behind me, and a lot of ex-players, so I had a lot of momentum. And if I'm honest, I think I frustrated the committee because they kind of had made the decision, the direction they wanted to go, but were pushed and prodded to talk to me. But I actually think at the end of the day it worked out okay, because I subsequently decided not to go forward. The Derby guys pulled out, and they were left with finding someone. Unfortunately, they've gone on and found the Kuigs, who I've met Pete, and he seems a really decent guy, and his heart and soul is behind the club and doing the right thing. And I think that that gives me a lot of comfort as a fan and a local sort of ex-player that they're in good hands, because you hear sort of, dare I say it, some tricky stories about investors who don't have the heart and soul of the club. And from what I've seen and what I hear, I think Pete and his, and his sort of relations have certainly got the club on the right footing, not just from a financial point of view, but from the social and behind the scenes. And hopefully that enables the club to get a well-needed promotion, which I think everyone's pulling behind at the moment.
It just sounds like such a great, and I hesitate to use the word, it sounds a bit X-Factory, but journey for yourself to be a young fan, someone who played for the club, and then to be in a position to be able to, contribute financially as well.
Yeah, and, from a personal point of view, I still have the best interests of the club. I'm sure I'll do some sponsorship with them, whether they go up or not next season. So I've now gone and set up a new IT business that it is growing quite rapidly. So, I'm happy to support the club. But at the end of the day, I suppose I've had the opportunity to support the club, play for the club, nearly buy the club, and now go back to the club last weekend and have a great day. So, for me, it's a great pleasure, and I've been quite fortunate in that respect.
Tell us a bit about Saturday, because you were there for a very poignant reason.
Yeah, I was, it's really sad for me because when I was 17, got into the team at Wycombe, I built up what I'd like to think a really strong bond with a few players, but significantly Anton, Bob and Gary Lester. And, for the next 8 or 9 years of my life, not just from a footballing point of view, from a social point of view, we did lots together. We went on tour together, we played golf together, we socialised together. And, Gary was, a real legend at Wycombe. And, he took a path after football involved with the church, which I hugely admire. And he went off to places like Romania and did amazing things for people who really needed support and help. And so we all kind of lost touch with Gary for a bit. And, we bumped into him 1 or 2 times, but, respected what he did. But he went on a totally different path to any of us thought he would do. And sadly, his life was taken away at, not too long ago. And I think we were all, gutted that, if I'm honest, we were told it was mental health issues. And, he was always helping people. So I think it's close to all of our hearts thinking, gosh, could we have done more if we'd reached out to him, the people who knew him? And, he will be dearly missed. And, Saturday, I know was an event for Acton Fenwar, but for us, seeing Gary's picture up and having a celebration drink to his life for us as ex-players, there were 10 or 12 players there, Mark West, Trevor Bunting, Jimmy Jacobs, Bob, as I said, Anton, Dave Burgess, and people, Mark Hill, Ken Wilson sadly wasn't there because he was abroad on trips, but, all of those people to a person, genuinely, only would have had kind words. Gary was a lovely person, and a great goalkeeper. And, I hope the club, he's 7th, longest serving player at the club. So hopefully someone, who's listening to this within the club, mental illness has been challenging for a lot of people the last couple of years. And it brings home to us, how close to home it is. And, God bless his soul, Gary he was an amazing guy.
And so special that you've kept in touch with those teammates and had that common bond of, the things that you've been through together during your time at the club.
I was laughing and joking because Bob Dells kept us together, and I keep saying to Bob, you're on a committee, and Bob's not the person. I don't ever feel Bob's really a committee man. He's his own man, and he says it as it is. But we laugh and joke. But Bob has kept our group, from that group of the 70s, 80s together. And okay, maybe not as successful as the likes of the Martin O'Neill era. Sorry, that's my dog in the background. But in a way, the bond that the guys have got and their commitment to supporting each other when we're playing together, and more importantly, just the fact that we kept in touch and we had a laugh and reflected on Gary on Saturday. It was really nice. And, Alan Gain was the other person who I didn't mention. He was assistant manager and manager at Wycombe. And I think it was the first time Alan had been back to the new ground since it had opened. So it was great to see Alan there. And I think all of us are going to arrange to get together again over the next couple of months and play golf for the golfers amongst us. But yeah, Bob has kept that group together, so well done to Bob.
Well done to Bob, if you've just tuned in. Really, really great chatting to Andy/Andrew.
And really great to hear from his dog as well.
Yeah, several occasions.
Yeah, indeed, yes.
The dogs were out, then they were in, then out, then in again. I think that's the order.
I did wonder whether the dog or dogs were going to get a mention, and I was really pleased that they did at the end.
Big thanks, as always, to Alan Hutchinson and JDT from the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association for our chats with...
Yes, our chats...
with former players. Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to...
I was just wondering whether or not the dogs had the Wycombe Wanderers dog lead.
Oh.
Fairly obvious comment, sorry.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come in the final part of the Wycombe Wanderers show, Bob sits down with manager Gareth Ainsworth. I assume you were sat down?
I was sat down, yes. Not actually with him, though.
No.
It was by the wonders of Zoom.
Yeah, but you were with him?
Well, I was sort of, yes.
Yeah.
Other communication devices are available.
Absolutely.
But first of all, we are going to hear from Wycombe Wanderers' new signing, because yes, we had a new signing this week. Jack Young sat down and had a chat with Matt Cecil.
He was sat down,
I'm assuming that they were sat down.
Jack, a proud day for you, joining Wycombe Wanderers on a permanent basis. Tell us how that makes you feel.
Yeah, I'm delighted. Coming here on loan, I knew straight away that it's a place that I would want to be in. Just the whole environment, I can't wait to spend some more time here.
It's a long way from home, it's new territory for you, but just tell us, did you settle in quickly when you came down here?
Yeah, all the boys are great, and it's very far, it's a bit different, it's a lot warmer, just a little bit, but as I say, the club as a whole and as an environment makes it really easy for anyone, I think, coming in.
You had to wait a little while for your debut. I know you did really well in that game at Long Crendon, and the gaffer was really impressed with you during training, and that game at Crewe must have been a special moment for you coming on and helping the boys see out the win.
Yeah, it was really good, and obviously getting the third, helping with the third goal and the celebrations in front of the crowd was a perfect start, and I loved every second of it.
I guess you can look around the changing room, look at people like Anis Mehmeti, who's a prime example of a youngster who was given an opportunity here. He's come into the side and now looks one of the first names on the team sheet. People like that must give you great hope for realising this is a club that can develop potential.
Yeah, exactly, and Anis is one of the examples the gaffer used when he was talking to me about the club, and I definitely want to do the same path kind of thing, break into the team and hopefully stay in the team. That's my goal, yeah.
Another one of those examples is Chris Farino, one of your housemates.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that house and the bond that you guys have in there.
Yeah, it's great. Me and Chris really get on, and just living together, we've learned so much about each other and help each other out. But sometimes it gets a bit mad, but it's all good.
At the other end of the scale, there's some incredibly experienced heads around, and that was evidenced on Saturday. Adebayo Akinfenwa getting an amazing send-off at Adams Park. Players like that must really help inspire you and also teach you bits about the game as well.
Yeah, Bayo, Vokesy, Stocko, Gareth, all the lads, just around the place and how they talk, the things they say before games, how they prep, everything. It's a great learning experience for me. And obviously with Bayo, as it being his last season, I think it's all very important, but make these 60 games count.
Absolutely, yeah. The team style of play is certainly evolving. Is it a style that you enjoy playing in? And from what you've seen, there's so much creativity available, isn't there, for those number 10s playing in behind the front man, and it's quite an exciting thing to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And as again, speaking to the gaffer, that's something he wants to bring in to a style of play where they can play a bit more, and I'm hopefully going to help with that, because that is my game.
Don't forget you can hear the interview with Jack and the other chats with Gareth and with Bayo and Gareth Ainsworth post Doncaster and Cambridge on Wanderers TV.
And it is very good. Well worth subscribing if you haven't already.
There's some really good content on there, isn't there?
There is. It's fantastic, and it's great to see that actually there's different content every day. It's the website is now worth visiting every day because there's always something new on it.
Absolutely. Nice plug.
Yeah.
Bob sat down with...
Well done to everyone involved.
There was much sitting down on the show this week. Bob sat down with manager Gareth Ainsworth a little earlier on this morning to reflect on that win at Cambridge on Tuesday night.
It was.
It's a great performance, just really was coming over the last few weeks, I think, and when it's clicking at the right time. The boys are in a real good place, they're getting back in the playoffs. I think was big for the boys. They feel like they can do it. They can, that's probably a hurdle. Are we ever going to get back in the top 6 again? And I always told them we will, and it's about staying in there then. And there's going to be twists and turns until the end of the season. So, yeah, everything came together really well. Maybe just the goal against, but even that's positive for me because there's plenty of learning from that, which for some of the younger boys, which is brilliant. So, no, really, really proud of the performance, I say nothing more than we deserved on that. I thought we were the better team. I think we have been in quite a few games, going right back even to our 7-game winless streak. There was a couple of games in there where we absolutely deserved to smash teams, and it just didn't happen that night. But that was great to see it come together at Cambridge on Tuesday.
Anthony Stewart obviously was the one change that you made. How is Anthony?
Yeah, he's okay. We'll assess him now and see where he is for the next game. Just missed out for something he picked up on Saturday, that was all.
And it must be great that actually you've got Chris Farino to come in there and just look so assured.
Yeah, Chris is a great player. He's going to be a big asset for this club one day, and I think he's going to play at a high level as well, a very high level. He's playing at a high level now, but I think we're talking the next 2 steps. Chris has got a chance to make those. Needs to learn a bit more about the game, but we teach him, and I'm sure that we'll have a fantastic player, just like Anis is now shining. And some of the younger boys that have come through, just brilliant to see him performing. Jack Young almost got some minutes, but we had to change it at the last minute with the substitutions. But no, we've got a real good nucleus of youngsters coming through now who are holding their own. It's taken a while, but. As I said after the game, you can name all the names on the pitch, but the big names for me are the Cougs. They've really backed me. They've allowed me to bring in what I wanted to bring in, and hopefully shape this club for a real good footing for the future. Never mind just this season.
Speaking about Anis, I thought that we saw how much he'd matured as a player on Tuesday night, because he was clearly having quite a tussle with their number 2, and he was clearly getting quite frustrated, but he didn't actually allow that frustration to boil over in the way that possibly maybe he did back at the Stadium of Light earlier on in the season.
Yeah, he's learned a lot, and that's all life lessons that you learn, and as long as you learn, I always say to the boys, you've allowed a mistake, boys, but once it becomes a recurring theme, that's a problem that I've got to deal with. So everyone's allowed mistakes. God knows I've made enough. So, but you learn from them and you try and not make the same one twice. And Anis has done really well, matured really well as a player. I think we have constant chats with him. I'm always speaking to him one-on-one about how well he's done and what I think he could do better. And I think, as you say, maturing is a big part of it. And my biggest thing is the mental strength of players. That's my number one thing. That's my go-to when I look for players, when I try and recruit players, play players. The mental side of the game is enormous, and Anis is showing that he's definitely got the capability to improve that.
And you've obviously added to the squad this week with the signing, the permanent signing now of Jack Young.
Yeah, fantastic to be able to do that at Wycombe Wanderers, and we dealt with Newcastle. I can't thank them enough for letting us have one of their young stars, and we aim to, again, turn Jack into a fantastic asset for this football club. I've seen enough that tells me that Jack has got all the attributes to be a great player. He's got some brilliant players ahead of him at the moment, with Josh Scowen, Lewis Wing, Dominic Gabe, Curtis Thompson. What a better group to learn off. You couldn't get a better group. I'm sure he's had good players ahead of him in Newcastle, but how often does he actually train with those or see them or interact with them day in, day out? Here, that's what you get. You get that real learning just from being with those players who've been there and done it. And I can't wait for Jack to start playing his best football, because he'll be definitely in this squad and this plans that we've got going forward for this football club.
It must also be great to see some of those that you've got out on loan are actually getting so much experience, particularly Ali Al-Hamadi, who's off to Wembley, of course, now with Bromley.
Yeah, brilliant for Ali, and gutted for Connor, really. He's at the same club, but he was cup-tied. He played in the same cup for Notts County earlier in the season. But Ali, Jack Wakely, Connor Parsons, have just fabulous experience for these boys to know what first team football is about, to learn their trades at the respective clubs, which you've got to learn how to play different ways. And yeah, Ali, brilliant that Bromley have got to Wembley against Wrexham. It's going to be a good game. I'll hopefully try and get to that one, because I'm hoping Ali will play some part in that. But yeah, really, really good experience, and I say it's part of their learning program. And Sam Grace, does a great job with his mentoring and his development of those boys.
So Gillingham on Saturday, I'm imagining that they're going to be a different proposition now that they're managed by Neil Harris to the side that we played in October when they were managed by Steve Evans.
Yeah, absolutely. Different managers bring different things. They've had a little bit of upturning form, and they dropped into the bottom four on Saturday. On Tuesday, with all the results that went sort of against them. The Morecambe result went for us, obviously, but against Gillingham, and that's football at this end of the season and this end of the year. So I'm sure that Neil will have them fired up, ready to put on a display against Wycombe, because. Obviously, we want these points. We want to continue this run we're on. But Gillingham are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. There's no gulf in this league. I tell you now, Doncaster proved that by beating MK Dons and Sunderland, and Gillingham have had some great results as well. Cambridge beat Ipswich the other day. So you've just got to be consistent in this league and get a little bit of luck at times. But Neil will definitely have his boys ready to compete in that game.
Is it actually harder at this stage of the season to maybe be playing those teams who are down at the bottom rather than, say, with all due respect to them, Cambridge, who probably now are actually safe?
I'm not too sure. I know it's a hard one, because if Cambridge have nothing to play for, there's no pressure on them. They can try things. They're a dangerous animal with be able to take risks. Whereas Gillingham won't want to take risks because they don't want to lose the game, but also they have to try and put something in that gets them the points. So it's a difficult question to ask, and to answer it. It's one of those things that we'll know what we get on Saturday. We'll prepare as best we can. But I know Neil Harris's teams are always competitive, and he's a fiery competitor as well. So we're going to have to be at our best. And then we have the 6-day break until Good Friday, which the games come thick and fast. But it's all on Gillingham. That's our focus for the next 2 days.
And brilliant to see on Tuesday night that nearly 500 fans made the trip to Cambridge. And I'm imagining that you're hoping for a busy away end on Saturday. Yeah,
the fans have been fantastic. Made so much noise on Tuesday night. I'd like to say that they would say the players enabled them to make so much noise with the performance they put in, but it's chicken and egg syndrome. We need them, and they need a performance, and who puts it in first. So, but the fans are great. The fans were absolutely brilliant, turning up in those numbers. It's something we just haven't done for years at this club, and it's really good to see that the support's there, the impetus is there. They all know what we're trying to achieve, and I'm praying for no rain on Saturday, because I remember a couple of years ago there was hypothermia was a risk at one stage with the amount of rain that was chucked on the fans. I think we drew 2-2 maybe, and it was an unbelievable day. So yeah, nice sunshine on that open end terrace, and a great result. We'll set up a brilliant weekend for our travelling fans. They've been sensational. I can't thank them enough.
Hopefully, hypothermia won't be an issue this coming weekend.
I thought the club were slightly cheeky, actually, when they released the Gillingham ticket information, that they used a picture of the Priestfield Stadium with one of the stands that was covered. And it was like, I felt that they should have put a little disclaimer underneath saying, this isn't the stand where you'll actually be.
Just 2 home games left, of course.
Yes, so Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday, and tickets are selling fast. And I know that sounds like an advertising slogan, but it's true.
2 big games as well.
Yeah,
obviously.
Indeed. Yep. So if you do want to go to either of those, then yes, you should get on the website and get your tickets. And if you were hoping to go to the AFC Wimbledon game, well, I'm afraid the tickets have all sold out.
Things look so much better as well, being in the top 6, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. And you do feel that we are just actually finding that form at exactly the right time. Currently, obviously, 6th in the table, so we played 41. We have 72 points, level on points with Sheffield Wednesday, who have played 40, also obviously 72. And then below us, who have a game in hand, that's Sunderland, with 70 points. They have got a goal difference of 19 compared to our 20, and then Oxford United 1 below them. They are on the same number of games as us, 41. They've got 69 points with a goal difference, a slightly better goal difference of 23. It might all come down to the goal difference.
Final words from yourself?
Up the Wick. Let's go and get another win on Saturday and hope that it doesn't rain and we don't come all back with hypothermia.